Yo, AC Sports live on the airways. Tonight's topics, of course, The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls in the 90s. Talk a little bit about my NBA 2K Live career, where I am, and my GOATs, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Dr.J. Stay tuned. Here we go.
You're quite hostile.
I got a right to be hostile, man. My people been persecuted.
Yo. Test 1 2 1 2. Thanks for tuning in. AC Sports Live. Let's see. Let's make sure my stream is working. I don't want to have technical difficulties like Teddy Riley. So you all checked in to the Teddy Riley versus Babyface battle. They went at it again, and this time I think Teddy got some better help. He still had a hard time. According to some of my Facebook friends, they said Teddy, technical difficulties Riley, was self-sabotaging his own stream. So he couldn't have wanted that smoke from Babyface, but we'll have to take a look at the song to see if you didn't get a chance to watch it live. I'm sure it's going to be on Instagram or Facebook or something like that. Yeah, you tuned in to AC Sports Live, and the topic of discussion amongst all my sports friends, The Last Dance. We watched it last night, episodes 1 and 2. Initial thoughts. I didn't think anything was really new. We didn't talk about anything we didn't know. But I will say this. As a secondary Bulls fan from when Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were doing their thing in the 90s, I was a kid, so we were very enamored by the Bulls. So I got my one Bulls shirt that I still own. But from watching the documentary and hearing beforehand that Michael Jordan said that you would never see him in a negative light in anything that he produced. So I already had my eye up when I saw it. Did my man Michael Jordan, did he snitch out the whole 84-85 Bulls team? I kind of heard that. My boy Jimmy Mack and I talked about it as a dry snitch. I'm doing double duty, y'all. My wife is making money, and I'm her helper in the office. She's Joy the jeweler. We like jewelry. She's making money, y'all. You wanna come get on the camera? No, I'm good. She don't want to get on the camera. The initial thoughts of The Last Dance. My first thoughts was, why they call it The Last Dance? I know Phil Jackson gave the theme of the season The Last Dance because the GM, Jerry Krause, decided that was it. This is the last year. How do you say this is the last year after you win the championship or have a championship season? That's pride. And I might have to preach on here. That's Proverbs 16:18. Pride comes before the fall. And what happened after he blew up the Bulls of the 90s, the dynasty that was? They ain't been the same since. We had Derrick Rose was an MVP, but that's about it. Now we have Zach LaVine and all those guys. So the Bulls will never be the same. Ain't no saying that they might not ever win a championship again, but they had something special, and they let the pride come before, winning. So that's sad because they could have won at least 2 more championships, in my opinion. Let's see. I'm looking, make sure my streams are working. Okay, I don't want no feedback here. All right, I hear it. Let's see if it works. All right, I hear it. It should be working. Y'all let me know if it's not working. MJ admitted that he needed Scottie Pippen to win a championship. I think that was something I had never heard before. I know he always said how important Scottie was to their success, but he actually said that he could not do what he did if it wasn't for Scottie Pippen. I know my man Mike Stafford is a huge Scottie Pippen fan. He thought Scottie's game was a lot more well-rounded than MJ's game. And it's arguably correct. However, that je ne sais quoi, that Michael Jordan and some others like LeBron and Kobe, they just have that charisma, that leadership quality that a lot of players don't have. True, Scottie Pippen led the Bulls without Michael Jordan deep into the playoffs those 2 years that he went to play baseball, but they didn't get it done. So we never know. He went to play in other places where he had to go get paid. That's a big thing I took away from in episode 2 was Scottie Pippen was getting paid like a reserve player, and he was I think it was top 5 in the MVP votes one of those championship years. So I think the Bulls missed that boat. They should have paid Scottie Pippen a lot earlier, even if he did sign a bad contract. You hear a lot of times the owner said he shouldn't have signed that contract. Scottie Pippen's agents even said he shouldn't have signed that contract. But it's hard for me to believe that they would have even presented that contract to him if they didn't think that's, a handsome salary. At the time, it was all right. But they saw the projected numbers, and they should have given better counsel. Another thing that I noticed, did y'all see Scottie Pippen speak? And then his brother came on the screen, and it was the same person except for a darker complexion. And he had the same drawl, the same smashed-in nose, and his voice was so super deep. My wife and I just had to laugh. Like, wow, they all sound the same. Like down there in Arkansas, they talk like this. You know, the basketball. And they had a gang of brothers and sisters, so you know you had to do something special to be seen in that family of 20. I didn't know that Scottie Pippen grew from 6'1" to 6'6" in 1 year in college. I heard the same thing happen to Dennis Rodman, which I can't wait to see next week. Dennis Rodman, his portion of The Last Dance is coming on next week. I was so excited to watch it. I thought it was going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all the way to Friday. Like I was anticipating just watching that every day, but once a week for 5 weeks, I guess we have to just live with it and look forward to Sundays at 6. Easy free plug for The Last Dance on ESPN. I thought they should have named it something else, like, you know, Raging Bulls or Relentless Mike or something. I don't know. The Last Dance. It really wasn't The Last Dance because they kept playing. Michael Jordan went to play for the Wizards and Scottie went to play for the Rockets. You know, doesn't matter. Everyone's tuned in. Everyone's broadcasting that they watched it. So, episode 1 and 2, I think it was pretty good. I liked when they kicked in the LL Cool J, I'm Bad, and then the Eric B. and Rakim, I Ain't No Joke. The small things that you appreciate as a filmmaker. You like to see some production value. Like to see them take into account what songs were hits in those days at that time. But it's going to end up being about Michael Jordan and how these guys, these role players, the coach Phil Jackson, how they all had a kind of a mesh with the GOAT of his era, MJ. So moving on, a lot of my homeboys was like, hey man, you playing NBA 2K. I said, not really, but I gave it a shot. I got on there. I had to have my son help me a little bit, but I made it, y'all. I'm a first round draft pick of the Philadelphia 76ers. And some people have chimed in that looks just like me. It does a little bit. For a cartoon, it's kind of scary. I know I might have gave the government my face imprint. But that's part of the game. If you get the app, you scan your face, they make a avatar of you, and then you play your season. So my season is going crazy. All right, so I told you about my first part of my season. I'm playing college ball. My coach starts wilding out, and I have to protest and get kicked. I kick myself out of school, and I check out of school because they're threatening me and my mama for sitting out the championship game or whatever it was. So I decided to go on to the league, take my chances at the draft. I'm working out, having good workouts, getting better. And then I get an opportunity to be in a movie with Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma and Brandon Ingram. And the game asks you what you're going to do. And I'm playing the game with my son. I tell my son, hey, man, one workout's not going to hurt. And I'm the main one telling him to, sacrifice and you have to outwork your friends and on your opponents and things like that. But here in the video game, I took the opportunity to be in a movie. So I go out and then we play a little 2-on-2 in a warehouse, a little court in the warehouse. So I got a little better there and I got back. My trainer gave me a hard time. My agent gave me a hard time. And then I go to work out and now I can't run. I'm slow. I get to the combine. I'm stumbling. My wife and daughter laughing at me. I couldn't make any shots, and I go back to that one workout I skipped. So here's my lesson to the youngsters that's watching. Don't skip any workouts. Even in the video game, it comes back and haunts you. So I had to make up for lost time. Went to the summer leagues, played well. The tryouts played well. Got my ratings up, and I got to the first round. And now I'm playing in my season. I know my boy Fritz, he downloaded the game and got his face scanned, and now he's playing. Sorry, fellas, if I gave you guys a bad habit. That you're going to be addicted to the game because it's pretty realistic. I got no playing time the first game. I was sitting there mad. The second game I got in a couple minutes. Turns out my coach is my college coach. He quit and now he's my coach in the pros. This story is getting crazy, man. So my coach pulls me into the office and tells me that he would have done the same thing I did. This is a video game. I'm telling you, it's better than most movies. What do I get paid for doing this?
You can stay here.
My wife is getting orders, and I'm filling the labels.
Room and board.
I'm getting paid room and board, and I get to eat. So my career is going well. We've come a long way from classic football. Let's see if y'all remember this. Oh man, not any good at that. How about this oldie but goodie right here? It's kind of small, but it still gives you the same feel. You get a chance to play Miss Pac-Man as opposed to the realistic NBA 2K. Just the sound alone brings back nostalgia. I was playing it a minute ago. My wife said, are you playing Miss Pac-Man? Oh, get the monster. Get the monster. Alright. Later. Alright. We'll wrap this thing up tonight. Now, we were talking earlier, my boy Jim McElroy. By the way, we got a show coming up called called 1585. Jimmy Mack and myself will get on here and talk trash, debating who's the GOAT, who's your top 5, different topics. So look for that real soon. But we're talking about how this Last Dance documentary is bringing up all the GOAT talks and the comparisons to Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and how LeBron James is creeping up on that list. Kareem's still my GOAT, and you can see I got my man right here. I even got my goggles. I'm all Kareemed out. I'm Kareem. I can get the skyhook going whenever I want to. Kareem was my GOAT because when I was really young, Dr.J was my favorite player. Dr.J was before Michael Jordan, before Kobe Bryant. For all the young guys who have never seen young Dr.J, ABA Dr.J, with the big afro and the Converse, he was unbelievable. The Rucker Park stories, the ABA stories, there was no comparison to Dr.J. He got the name Doctor because he was operating on the court, and guys couldn't even get close to Doc. That was until Lou Alcindor, who is now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, stepped on the scene. They were Kareem's a little bit older, but the fanfare went to the guy who had the ball, and that's usually a guard. And that kind of ties into the discussion when you talk about Michael Jordan versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar versus LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, those type of all-time greats. And don't get me wrong, there's no such thing as a GOAT because everybody has a different experience and everybody sees the game differently. But when you see something for your own eyes and you experience something for your own eyes, you can make a decision. And now that I'm a little bit older, I can care less what people think. I just say this is who I think is the best of all time. For right now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is my GOAT. How he surpassed Dr. J. When I was younger, they had a thing called Clash of the Titans, where your favorite players play one-on-one. And this hurt my heart. It hurt my heart when I saw my favorite player get beat by my other favorite player. But at the same time, it made me okay with it. I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen this. If you go back it's on YouTube. And you can take a look. They actually sized them up. At the time, Kareem was 45, Dr. J was 42. They both been playing for many years as a pro, 16 years for the Doc, 20 years for Kareem. Points, all-star teams, you name it, they played. These were two of the all-time greats, but they played one-on-one. And it might have been the ugliest game of one-on-one you ever seen. But it was telling because it always came down to who got easy buckets. Dr. J, with all his style and finesse, had a hard time getting shots off. Kareem didn't. He had that signature skyhook that nobody could block. It was only been blocked maybe 4 times, I believe, in his career. I don't know how many attempts, but all you had to do was back the guy in, get to the basket, get fouled, or hit the sky hook. Now, they both got gray hair, and Kareem ain't got no hair. They're old, but they're still shells of who they used to be. But Kareem beat Dr. J so easily. Now, if they rewind the clock and say, well, Dr. J is too old. Kareem's old too, but Kareem is 7'2". Dr. J is 6'7", 6'6". And Dr. J, a lot like Michael Jordan, wasn't known for his handle. He was known for his slashing and his ability to score the basketball on the fast break with his speed and agility and athletic ability. But in a half-court set, where baskets are a premium, like we saw in the All-Star game this year, the half-court game, it comes down to who can get the easiest buckets. These two seasoned old school vets struggled to score buckets. But once Kareem got it going, it was a wrap. And Dr. J had no answer for it. Now, does this kind of like make it seem like, okay, he's the greatest of all time? No, one-on-one is not basketball when it comes to how we grade our GOATs. We're talking about championships, team players, defensive player of the year, those types of things. But as a young kid, when you thought somebody was so great and then you see them and they're not so great, you're a little bit hurt, and you're a little bit dumbfounded that what you thought was our reality is actually a figment of your imagination. And I think we saw that like last night. Kareem went on to win that game between him and Dr. J. What the score was. If I can take a quick look and see what the score was of that one. Trying to see if I can't pull them up. Yeah. All I know it was like 25-5. It was like 21-5 or something like that. Dr. J couldn't find a easy bucket all night. He had to earn every single bucket because Kareem blocked every shot he shot by the cup, as he should. If you are that much taller than your opponent, you're supposed to dominate. And that signature skyhook, unstoppable. But what does that say about what we see today? In a one-on-one battle, I don't think anybody is stopping LeBron James. Just like when Kobe was alive, nobody's stopping Kobe Bryant. Nobody's stopping Kevin Durant. Nobody's stopping James Harden. So then what comes down to who's great? And I think impact gets overlooked a lot. The impact you have on the game. Allen Iverson, one of my favorite players of all time. His impact. Michael Jordan's tennis shoes, still the highest selling shoe on the market. When Kobe Bryant passed away, they pulled his shoes off the market because they knew those shoes are going to be flying off the racks. KD gets mentioned in the conversation too. But again, Jimmy Mack and myself discussed it today. What are we going to remember KD by? And for me, it's an unbelievable talent. One of the best scorers we've ever seen. But that one little mistake he made, I don't think it was a mistake. It was just a decision. Similar to LeBron James' decision. If you go to a team that beat you, it's hard for somebody like myself to say he might be the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time in any sport takes on all challengers. I think the OKC Thunder with Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant, James Harden, Serge Ibaka, Steven Adams, those guys had the potential to be a championship team. They made it to the finals. They had to do is stick together. But today's kid, I call KD a kid since I'm so They'd rather go where it's gonna happen for sure than stick it out and see what happens. So that's where we are. The age of super teaming. We see it even in our 5-star recruits in high school. They go where it's going to be given to them. A takeaway I have from the Last Dance last night. Michael Jordan's mama, when he got cut, trying out for varsity as a sophomore. And now we got the real story. We always said he got cut from the middle school team or whatever. Now we know he tried out for varsity as a sophomore. Same age as my son right now, going into a sophomore year after this year. And if you don't make the team, what you gonna do? Michael Jordan got better, made the team, became one of the best players in the country. A lot of kids today, if they don't make a team, they transfer to the next local private school that'll just take them and give them a spot. And that's not preparing people or young people for the next level and for the real world. Again, this is sports, it's entertainment. It's not supposed to be your end all, be all, big picture. It is supposed to be life lessons learned. It's supposed to be an opportunity for you to become a better person, to learn some work ethic. And I think that's kind of what drove Michael Jordan in his initial chapter of his life, was he got cut. So just because you jump high and run fast don't mean you're going to make the team. Sometimes you have to go the extra mile, play better defense, rebound better, talk, be a good teammate. Those types of things I'm sure he learned. Now, was he a jerk when he got to the league? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a jerk. I'm pretty sure his teammates hated him. But he drove them. There would not be no Scottie Pippen without Michael Jordan. He pushed Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen might have been like Tracy McGrady had he not been with Michael Jordan. Just a great player, never reached no potential. But now, Scottie Pippen is regarded as one of the best players of all time because that drive and energy Michael Jordan required of him. Again, Michael Jordan was a rare individual, and we saw glimpses of that with Kobe Bryant. Every time he stepped on the court, he emulated everything Michael Jordan did. So we saw Michael Jordan twice through Kobe Bryant, and we always tab guys, Baby Jordan, and back in the day with Harold Miner and guys like that. Closest thing we saw was Kobe Bryant. But to say this, the effort and tenacity and relentlessness of Michael Jordan and his story to require and dominate and demand an effort and professionalism of his teammates is one thing that I would take from that. Besides everything he does off the court, you know, I don't model him as a father or a husband or nothing like that, but as a basketball player and as an athlete. Same thing with Kobe Bryant. These guys aren't your pastors. They're not your father figures. Now, a role model is LeBron James. Done everything right with this guy. High school sweetheart, kids at the house happy, everybody happy. Again, am I modeling him as a man of God? No. I have other mentors in that area. My apostle Will T. Washington is my mentor, one of my heroes. And my coach Don Norford is another one that I used as a father figure and mentor. So you have to select who you emulate, who you want to be like, and who you really respect and who you want to be like. And in this regard, in basketball, you pick one. So right now, I'm trying to get my son to pick somebody that you really admire and see who you want to model your game after if basketball is something you want to do. Now, if you want to just be a person that goes to work and works hard, look at your dad. I wasn't the best athlete. I wasn't the best player, but I worked hard enough to get a Division I scholarship. I worked hard enough to get a cup of coffee in the NFL. And I have some great stories to tell about those days. But at the same time, what's your goal? What's your passion? It was clear Michael Jordan's passion was to be the best basketball player to ever play the game. And from what he was given, being 6'6" from North Carolina, I think he did that. Kobe Bryant being 6'7" from Philadelphia, he did that. Wilt, Kareem, Magic, all those guys became the best players that they can be. I'm pretty sure it was with hard work, determination, focus, and a relentless spirit to be the best that they can be. So that's, in a nutshell, that's sports, man. So if you want to be regarded as one of the greats, get off Twitter, get off Instagram talking about why you not this, why you're not that. Put your head down and go to work, man. That's why Dame Lillard is my favorite player right now. Don't talk a lot of mess about why he ain't happy and who he needs to be good. He's content playing the best ball he can where he is, and I respect that. All right, so let's see, what time is it? It is 10:01. Hey, I'm over my time by 1 minute, and we gonna come back to you when some more goodies come. The NFL draft is Thursday, so we're gonna check in after that and see who got what. If we're gonna have an NFL season, I think we will. As the states try to open back up, stay home, be smart. Don't go out there acting crazy. We don't know the truth about this thing, so we got to be honest with ourselves and have some common sense. Until they have it all cleared up, keep your mask, wear your gloves, stay in the house. It's almost time for me to make something to eat again for this kid. He busts out the room talking about, is there food? Once again, I love that kid. My daughter is back there. She probably gonna want chicken wings for the umpteenth time. Am I the only one out there trying to cook meals and you ran out of ideas? Yeah, that's me. All right, so again, Thursday, NFL draft, and Sunday, the last dance, parts 2 or parts 3 and 4. I can't wait. I'm sure you can't either. Until then, I'm AC. I'm out.